I'm Nick Snow, watching Government for Oil and Gas Journal in Washington, D.C. Before anyone snickers too loudly that there were no significant oil and gas provisions in the, quote, comprehensive, end quote, energy bill the U.S. Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee marked up on July 28th, consider this long-held congressional truth. Start with what's possible before attempting the impossible. That obviously was what Committee Chair Lisa Murkowski, a Republican from Alaska, had in mind when she proposed ending restrictions on exports of domestically produced crude oil and establishing shares of federal revenue for coastal states from production off their shores in a separate measure. Keeping such controversial issues out of the broader bill clearly made it more palatable to its co-sponsor, ranking minority member Maria E. Cantwell, a Democrat from Washington. It also continued the committee's bipartisan tradition, which sets it apart from most other congressional bodies, so it could discuss other pressing energy policy issues. After months of working together, the bipartisan legislation we introduced today marks a critical step toward the modernization of our federal energy policies, Murkowski said when she and Cantwell introduced the bill on July 22nd. By focusing on areas where agreement was possible, we have assembled a robust bill with priorities from many senators that will promote our economic growth, national security, and global competitiveness, the committee's chair indicated. Cantwell cited the bill's provision which would permanently reauthorize the Land and Water Conservation Fund. This important program has helped to protect many of our nation's iconic and most popular national parks, forests, and public lands, and is itself a treasure, she maintained. The bill's primary oil and gas provisions dealt with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, liquefied natural gas exports, and working more closely with states on oil and gas exploration and production oversight. This last point aligns with what Utah Governor Gary R. Herbert, a Republican, said when he became National Governors Association chairman at that group's summer meeting on July 25th. His 2015-16 initiative states, Finding Solutions, Improving Lives, aims to enhance federal-state partnerships, highlight state solutions, and share best practices. Herbert and other Rocky Mountain governors did not like the U.S. Bureau of Land Management's approach to regulating hydraulic fracturing on the onshore public and Indian tribal lands it oversees. Murkowski, meanwhile, called proposals calling for the sale of 101 million barrels of SPR crude for $9 billion to partially pay for the federal highway bill, quote, a bad deal, end quote, on July 27th, as she issued a new report highlighting the reserve's importance to domestic energy security. It would be like cashing in our home insurance policy to pay for repaving the driveway, she observed. Murkowski wants a full SPR review before Congress raids that particular cookie jar. That's Watching Government for this week. In Washington, I'm Nick Snow for Oil and Gas Journal.